Develop Rational Mind. How to Make Smart Decisions Every Time. Written and published by Echoes of Wisdom. Introduction. Imagine a life where every decision you make feels undeniably right. Whether it's choosing the perfect career move, navigating personal relationships, or handling daily challenges with confidence. Picture waking up each day knowing that you have the clarity and wisdom to steer your life towards success, free from the nagging doubt of what if. This is the promise of a well-honed rational mind. In Develop a Rational Mind, How to Make Smart Decisions. Every time, we're going to dive deep into the art and science of decision-making. You'll learn how to identify and overcome the emotional biases and mental traps that cloud your judgment, and discover proven strategies to cultivate clear, logical thinking. From breaking down complex problems into manageable pieces to harnessing the power of evidence-based reasoning, this book offers you a comprehensive roadmap to transform uncertainty into confident, decisive action. If you're ready to leave behind hesitation and second-guessing and embrace a life where every choice propels you forward, then join me on this journey. It's time to unlock your potential, master your mind, and start making decisions like a pro. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Understand the power of rational thinking. The first and most crucial step in developing a rational mind is understanding the immense power of clear, logical thinking. Our brains are naturally wired to respond emotionally. This means that when we're faced with a decision, our feelings often take the lead. For example, if someone says something that bothers us, our initial reaction might be anger or frustration. Or, when we are presented with an opportunity, our excitement might push us to act without fully considering the consequences. Emotions are powerful and can sometimes cloud our ability to think rationally, making it hard to make the best choice in a given situation. Rational thinking, on the other hand, requires us to take a step back. It encourages us to pause and slow down before reacting. It's about being mindful of how we feel in the moment, but choosing not to let those feelings dictate our actions. Instead of rushing into a decision, rational thinking involves actively analyzing the situation. This means asking ourselves important questions. What are the facts? What are the potential outcomes? Are there any biases influencing my thoughts? The goal is to look for objective truths rather than relying on emotional impulses. In today's world, where we are bombarded with information from all directions, whether it's social media, news outlets, or the people around us, developing a rational mind is more essential than ever. We're constantly presented with choices, big and small, and it's easy to get swept up in the noise of external influences. But a rational mind doesn't just follow the crowd. It seeks clarity amidst the chaos. It recognizes that not all decisions are equal, and some require more thought and consideration than others. While quick, emotional reactions may seem tempting, many decisions in life demand careful reflection and logical evaluation to ensure the best possible outcome. By embracing rational thinking, you start to build a mental framework that prioritizes logic over impulse, ensuring that every choice you make is aligned with your goals and values. It's a skill that doesn't come naturally to everyone, but can be cultivated with practice, patience, and self-awareness. The more you strengthen this ability, the better you'll become at making thoughtful, reasoned decisions that lead to long-term success and happiness. Chapter 2. Challenge your assumptions and beliefs. One of the biggest barriers to rational thinking is the unconscious assumptions and beliefs we carry with us. These are the mental shortcuts we use to make sense of the world, often formed from past experiences, societal influences, or even family upbringing. While these beliefs can serve as a guide, they can also limit our ability to see things clearly. When we base decisions on assumptions without questioning them, we risk making poor choices that are rooted more in bias than in logic. To make smarter, more rational decisions, it's essential to challenge these assumptions. Start by asking yourself, why do I believe this? Where did this belief come from? And is it based on evidence, or is it just something I've always accepted as true? Many times our beliefs are formed from incomplete or inaccurate information, and as a result, they may no longer be serving us well. By taking the time to dig deeper and reflect on why we believe what we do, we open the door to more thoughtful decision-making. For example, you might believe that you're not good at a particular skill because of past failures. But is that belief based on the truth, or has it become a self-limiting assumption? Perhaps your previous experiences don't fully represent your true potential. By questioning this belief and looking at it from a more rational perspective, you might realize that it's holding you back unnecessarily. Challenging assumptions also means recognizing that no decision is made in a vacuum. Our cultural background, upbringing, and environment all shape how we view the world and influence the choices we make. However, when we question these external influences, we gain the power to break free from societal pressures and make decisions that align more closely with our true values. By actively challenging your assumptions and beliefs, you gain clarity and the ability to think more rationally. This process helps you uncover hidden biases that might otherwise influence your decisions. It might be uncomfortable at first, as it requires you to confront long-held ideas. However, it's a vital step toward becoming a more objective, logical thinker, and it will ultimately lead to more informed and effective decisions. The more you practice this habit, the easier it becomes to see through the lens of logic and make smarter choices. Chapter 3. Break down the problem into smaller pieces. When faced with a difficult decision or a complex problem, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer size and scope of the issue. Whether it's a major life choice, a work-related challenge, or even a personal conflict, the weight of the problem can cloud your ability to think clearly. This is where breaking the problem down into smaller, more manageable pieces becomes a powerful tool in rational thinking. Instead of approaching a big decision all at once, try dividing it into smaller parts. Think of it like putting together a puzzle. If you try to solve the entire puzzle in one go, it's easy to get frustrated and lost in the process. However, when you break it into smaller sections and focus on completing one part at a time, the puzzle becomes easier to manage and the solution starts to emerge. By breaking down a complex problem, you can focus on specific aspects of the decision, making it easier to identify solutions and evaluate possible outcomes. For example, if you're considering a career change, don't overwhelm yourself by thinking about the entire process all at once. Instead, break it down into smaller tasks. Research potential fields, evaluate your skills, network with professionals, and identify your values and priorities. Each task becomes a manageable step that brings you closer to making a thoughtful decision. This approach also helps prevent decision fatigue. When you face a large problem, it's natural to feel mentally drained after trying to process everything at once. By breaking it down, you allow your mind to process information in chunks, which helps conserve energy and maintain focus. This way, you're able to make decisions with a clearer, more rational perspective, rather than being bogged down by the stress of an overwhelming situation. In addition to helping you manage complex problems, breaking things down also helps you avoid jumping to conclusions. When we're presented with a problem, there's often an urge to quickly find a solution to ease the discomfort. However, if you allow yourself the time to break the issue into smaller pieces and thoroughly consider each part, you're less likely to rush into a decision that might not be in your best interest. The more you practice breaking down problems into smaller pieces, the more confident you'll become in your decision-making abilities. You'll start to see that no problem is too big to solve when approached with a rational, methodical mindset. The key is to stay calm, break it down, and focus on each piece until the entire picture becomes clear. Chapter 4. Use logic and evidence to guide your decisions. Rational thinking thrives on logic and evidence, which are the cornerstones of sound decision-making. While emotions, opinions, and gut feelings can sometimes offer insight, they are often unreliable and can lead us down paths that don't serve us well in the long run. To make truly smart decisions, it's essential to lean on facts, data, and logical reasoning. When faced with a decision, the first step is to gather as much relevant information as possible. This means seeking out credible sources, conducting research, and looking at the facts from different perspectives. For instance, if you're considering a new job opportunity, it's not enough to rely on a feeling or a recommendation from a friend. You should examine the job description, the company's track record, salary comparisons, and other important factors. By collecting all the data, you're giving yourself the tools needed to make an informed choice. Next, use logic to evaluate your options. This means weighing the pros and cons of each choice and thinking through the potential consequences. What are the short-term and long-term outcomes? What are the risks and rewards associated with each option? Logic involves stepping back and analyzing each possibility based on the evidence at hand, rather than being swayed by emotional impulses or assumptions. The more systematically you evaluate your choices, the clearer the right path will become. One powerful tool for applying logic is considering different perspectives and possibilities. For example, think about the best-case scenario, the worst-case scenario, and the most likely scenario for each option you're considering. What would happen if you chose one path over another? This helps you visualize the full range of potential outcomes and make a decision that aligns with your long-term goals and values. It's also important to remember that not all evidence is created equal. Always aim to base your decisions on high-quality, reliable information. Be wary of sources that are biased or incomplete. If the evidence you've gathered doesn't align with your assumptions or desires, it may be time to challenge your beliefs and adjust your thinking accordingly. By grounding your decisions in logic and evidence, you move away from emotional reactions and into a space of clarity and confidence. Logical thinking helps you avoid impulsive choices, reduces the risk of regret, and ensures that the decisions you make are in your best interest. Over time, as you consistently use logic and evidence in your decision-making, it becomes second nature, and you'll find that making thoughtful, rational decisions feels more intuitive. Relying on logic and evidence allows you to step outside the noise and focus on what truly matters. It's a practice that helps you make smarter, more objective decisions that align with your goals and lead to greater success. Chapter 5. Practice the art of reflection. Rational thinking isn't just about making good decisions in the moment. It's also about learning from the decisions you've made in the past. This is where the art of reflection comes in. Reflection allows you to step back, evaluate your decisions, and gain deeper insights into why things turned out the way they did. By regularly reflecting on your choices, you not only become a better decision-maker, but also enhance your ability to think clearly, adjust your course when necessary, and ultimately make smarter choices in the future. The first step in the practice of reflection is to take a moment to pause and think after making any significant decision. It's important to give yourself space to assess the outcome without rushing into the next task. Whether the outcome was good or bad, there's always something to learn. Reflection helps you understand what went right, what could have been done better, and what steps you could take next time to improve the decision-making process. For example, after a major career decision, take time to evaluate the impact it's had on your life. Did the job align with your values and long-term goals? Did the challenges you faced reflect the decisions you made earlier? Reflecting on these questions allows you to understand not only the outcome, but also the reasoning behind your choices. It provides clarity on whether the path you took was genuinely the best one, or if there are adjustments to be made. Reflection also involves looking at your mistakes and using them as stepping stones for growth. We all make decisions that don't turn out as planned, and while it's easy to feel regret or frustration, it's much more beneficial to see mistakes as learning opportunities. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this knowledge to make a better decision next time? The more you reflect on your missteps and recognize the lessons they hold, the better equipped you'll be to make better choices going forward. In addition to looking back at your past decisions, it's important to set aside time for regular self-reflection. This practice involves considering your values, goals, and the patterns in your decision-making process. Are you consistently making choices that align with your long-term vision? Are there recurring mistakes or biases that you need to address? Taking time to reflect regularly on these questions allows you to course-correct when necessary, helping you stay focused on what truly matters. It's also crucial to reflect on your emotional responses. Emotions can often cloud our rational judgment, but by reflecting on how we felt during the decision-making process, we gain insight into how our emotions influenced our choices. Did fear hold you back from making an important decision? Did excitement lead you to make an impulsive choice? Understanding your emotional triggers gives you the ability to manage them more effectively in the future. By doing this, you can strengthen your rational thinking and make decisions with a more balanced perspective. Reflection is a tool that enhances both your decision-making and your personal growth. It empowers you to evaluate your past, recognize patterns, and make necessary adjustments. Through regular self-reflection, you build greater self-awareness and deepen your understanding of what drives your decisions. Over time, you'll find that the more you practice reflection, the more natural it becomes to make rational, well-considered choices, leading to greater success, satisfaction, and fulfillment in your life. The art of reflection teaches you to be more mindful, to learn from your experiences, and to embrace continuous improvement. It's not about perfection, it's about growth. Every decision, whether a success or a failure, holds valuable lessons that can guide you toward becoming the best decision-maker you can be. Chapter 6. Manage your emotions. While emotions are a natural and essential part of being human, they can sometimes cloud our judgment and prevent us from making rational decisions. Our emotions can be powerful, influencing the way we perceive situations and the choices we make. Whether it's anger, fear, excitement, or anxiety, these feelings can cause us to act impulsively or irrationally, making decisions that don't align with our long-term goals. To develop a rational mind, it's crucial to learn how to manage your emotions effectively, allowing you to make more thoughtful and reasoned choices, even in emotionally charged situations. The first step in managing emotions is becoming aware of them. Often, we act on our feelings without fully understanding what's driving them. Maybe you're feeling anxious about an upcoming decision, or perhaps you're frustrated with a situation and react impulsively. Before making any decisions, take a moment to pause and tune in to your emotions. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And why am I feeling this way? Recognizing your emotions is the first step toward managing them, because it allows you to separate your feelings from your thinking and take control of your response. Once you're aware of your emotions, it's important to give yourself some space before reacting. In moments of high emotion, our instincts might tell us to act immediately, but this can often lead to decisions we regret later. Instead of reacting on the spot, take a few deep breaths, step away from the situation if possible, and give yourself time to process your feelings. This moment of pause can be incredibly powerful, as it allows you to approach the situation with a calmer, more rational mindset. Another important strategy in managing emotions is learning to reframe them. Reframing involves changing the way you interpret and respond to your emotions. For example, if you're feeling nervous about making a big decision, instead of letting that anxiety hold you back, try to reframe it as excitement for the opportunity ahead. If you're frustrated, try to view it as a signal that you care deeply about the situation and want to make the best choice. By changing your perspective on emotions, you can shift from being overwhelmed by them to using them as a tool to motivate and focus your rational thinking. Emotional regulation also involves recognizing when your emotions are interfering with your ability to think clearly and making an active choice to step back from them. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring your emotions, but rather acknowledging them and deciding not to let them dictate your actions. For example, if you're feeling angry in a meeting, instead of snapping at someone, take a moment to breathe and regain composure before responding. This self-regulation is key to making decisions that are based on logic rather than being driven by momentary emotional reactions. It's also helpful to practice mindfulness techniques to better manage your emotions in everyday life. Mindfulness encourages you to be present in the moment without judgment, which can help you detach from emotional responses that might cloud your thinking. By practicing mindfulness regularly, you build emotional awareness and resilience, making it easier to stay calm and rational when faced with difficult decisions or challenging situations. Finally, remember that managing emotions is not about eliminating them. Emotions are a vital part of our experience and can even provide valuable insights into what matters most to us. The goal is not to suppress feelings, but to ensure that our decisions are driven by logic and rational thinking rather than emotional impulses. By learning to balance your emotions with rational thought, you can make smarter decisions that align with your values and long-term goals. As you practice managing your emotions, you'll find that you're able to approach decision-making with greater clarity and confidence. Rather than being swept away by a wave of emotion, you'll learn how to recognize, understand, and regulate your feelings, allowing your rational mind to guide your choices. Over time, this skill becomes second nature, and you'll be able to face challenges with a calm, clear mind, making decisions that are in your best interest and contributing to your overall success and well-being. Managing your emotions is a vital part of developing a rational mind. It enables you to make decisions that are more thoughtful, deliberate, and aligned with your true goals. Emotions will always be a part of who you are, but with practice and awareness, you can learn to navigate them with grace, ensuring they don't derail your decision-making process. Chapter 7. Commit to the process, not just the outcome. When it comes to making decisions, it's easy to focus solely on the end result. We often think that the only measure of success is the outcome, whether we achieved our goal, landed the job, or made the right choice in the moment. While it's important to acknowledge the results of our decisions, true rational thinking involves committing to the process itself, not just the outcome. When you focus on developing the decision-making process, you set yourself up for continuous growth, learning, and improvement, regardless of the immediate result. Committing to the process means that you are dedicated to making well-thought-out, logical decisions, even if the results are uncertain. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, things don't go as planned. We might make a decision that doesn't lead to the outcome we hoped for, or we may encounter unexpected challenges along the way. In these moments, it's crucial to remember that the value lies in the process of thoughtful analysis, critical thinking, and reflection, not just in achieving a particular goal. For example, If you're facing a tough decision, such as changing careers or moving to a new city, it's easy to get fixated on the idea of success. You might worry about whether the new job will be the right fit or if the move will pay off financially. But if you focus only on the potential outcomes, you might rush into a decision based on fear or anxiety. Instead, commit to the process. Take the time to gather information, consider all the options, weigh the pros and cons, and make the decision that is the most rational based on the facts at hand. This mindset shift helps you approach decisions with clarity and confidence, knowing that regardless of the result, you made the best choice based on the information available at the time. Committing to the process also means giving yourself the permission to make mistakes and learn from them. We are often afraid of making the wrong choice because we fear failure or regret. But the reality is that no one has a perfect track record when it comes to decision-making. It's not the mistakes themselves that matter. It's what you do after the mistake occurs that counts. If you're committed to the process, you'll take each failure as an opportunity to reflect, learn, and refine your decision-making skills for the future. Every decision, whether successful or not, provides valuable insights that can help you become a better thinker and a more effective decision-maker in the long run. Moreover, when you focus on the process rather than the outcome, you also reduce stress and pressure. When we are overly focused on a specific result, it can lead to anxiety and a fear of making the wrong choice. But when you commit to the process, you give yourself the freedom to focus on what's within your control, the decisions you make, the thoughtfulness you put into your choices, and the steps you take toward your goal. This mindset helps you stay calm and grounded, knowing that the process itself is what truly matters, not just the destination. Another benefit of committing to the process is that it encourages continuous growth. Rational thinking is not a one-time skill that you master and then forget. It's a habit that needs to be cultivated over time. When you make decisions based on logic, reflection, and evidence, you are constantly learning and evolving. As you practice this process, you become more skilled at thinking critically, analyzing information, and making decisions that align with your values and long-term vision. It's also important to understand that the journey of developing a rational mind is ongoing. Even after you've made a decision and evaluated the results, you're still learning. Each new experience gives you a fresh perspective and the chance to refine your decision-making process. By staying committed to the process, you continue to improve and evolve, becoming a more decisive, thoughtful, and rational person with each choice you make. Committing to the process, not just the outcome, is the key to mastering rational decision-making. It's about consistently making thoughtful, evidence-based decisions, learning from your experiences, and improving over time. When you focus on the process, you free yourself from the pressure of perfection, embrace the lessons that come with mistakes, and create a solid foundation for making smarter, more deliberate decisions. In the end, the process itself becomes the true measure of success, guiding you toward better decisions and a more fulfilling life. Chapter 8. Build a system for consistent decision-making. Developing a rational mind isn't just about individual decisions. It's about building a system that supports consistent, well-thought-out choices over time. Having a structured approach to decision-making allows you to navigate life with greater confidence and clarity, ensuring that your decisions aren't just reactionary or impulsive, but are grounded in logic, evidence, and your personal values. Building such a system helps you manage the complexity of modern life, where countless decisions must be made each day. Whether big or small, you'll have a framework to guide you, making it easier to stay on course and achieve your long-term goals. The first step in creating a decision-making system is developing a set of guiding principles. These principles are the non-negotiable values and beliefs that shape how you make decisions. For example, one of your principles might be to always choose options that align with your long-term vision, or you might prioritize transparency and honesty when making decisions in your personal or professional life. These principles serve as the foundation for your decision-making, ensuring that no matter how complex or difficult a situation becomes, you have a clear set of rules to follow. Next, it's helpful to implement a structured decision-making process. One effective model is the 5-step decision-making framework. Define the problem. Take time to clearly understand what decision needs to be made. Ask yourself questions like, what is at stake? What are the key factors to consider? What outcome am I hoping for? Gather information. This step involves gathering the relevant data, facts, and opinions to inform your decision. It's crucial to look at multiple sources and perspectives to get a complete picture. The more information you gather, the better equipped you'll be to make an informed choice. Identify your options. Brainstorm the potential options or solutions available to you. Don't rush this step. Take time to think creatively about all the possibilities before narrowing down your choices. This will help ensure you don't overlook any viable options. Weigh the pros and cons. For each option, evaluate the benefits and drawbacks. What are the short-term and long-term consequences of each choice? This helps you see the potential impact of your decision from all angles. Make a decision and reflect. After carefully considering all options, choose the one that aligns with your guiding principles and goals. Once you've made your decision, take time to reflect on it. Ask yourself, was this the right choice based on the information I had? If the decision leads to success, celebrate it. If it leads to failure, reflect on the lessons learned and adjust your process for next time. By consistently following this decision-making framework, you develop the habit of making logical, deliberate choices that are based on a clear process rather than impulse or emotion. This structured approach ensures that you don't get lost in the moment or make rash decisions. Over time, it becomes second nature, and you'll find yourself making more confident, reasoned decisions, no matter the situation. Your decision-making system should involve regular self-check-ins. Periodically, take time to assess how well your decisions are aligning with your long-term goals. Are you making choices that move you closer to your personal or professional vision? If not, what adjustments can you make? By regularly evaluating your decisions, you can fine-tune your system and improve the consistency and quality of your choices. Another key component of a successful decision-making system is emotional regulation. As discussed in earlier chapters, emotions can cloud your judgment, so it's important to recognize when your emotions are influencing your decisions. Building emotional awareness and self-control into your system helps you maintain clarity and objectivity, ensuring that your decisions are guided by logic rather than emotional impulses. This can be done by implementing tools like mindfulness or breathing exercises to ground yourself before making important choices. Remember that a decision-making system isn't static. It's something that evolves over time. As you gain more experience, reflect on your past choices, and learn from both successes and failures, your system will adapt and improve. This adaptability is essential for staying aligned with your evolving goals and circumstances. Over time, your rational mind will become stronger, and decision-making will feel more intuitive as you develop a system that works for you. Building a decision-making system is a powerful way to ensure consistency, clarity, and confidence in your choices. By developing guiding principles, following a structured framework, regularly reflecting on your decisions, and managing your emotions, you create a system that allows you to make rational, informed decisions no matter what life throws your way. As you continue to refine this system, you'll find that making smart decisions becomes not only easier, but also more empowering as you take control of your life and steer it in the direction of your dreams. Chapter 9. Embrace uncertainty and learn to adapt. One of the most challenging aspects of decision-making is that it often involves a significant degree of uncertainty. No matter how much information you gather, how much logic you apply, or how carefully you plan, there will always be unknown factors. Life is full of surprises, and many decisions come with an element of risk that cannot be entirely eliminated. However, developing a rational mind means learning to embrace this uncertainty rather than fear it. By understanding that uncertainty is a natural part of life and being prepared to adapt to changing circumstances, you can make smarter decisions, build resilience, and navigate challenges with greater ease. Embracing uncertainty begins with accepting that not all outcomes can be predicted or controlled. We tend to want certainty because it feels safe, but the truth is that life rarely works out exactly how we expect it. When you're faced with a difficult decision, there are often many unknowns, whether it's how a new job will turn out, how a personal relationship will evolve, or how a major life change will affect you. The key to making rational decisions in these situations is to acknowledge the uncertainty and approach the decision with an open mind, rather than trying to predict every possible outcome with absolute certainty. Part of embracing uncertainty is learning to focus on what you can control. In many situations, the outcome isn't entirely in your hands, but the process is. By focusing on making thoughtful, evidence-based decisions based on the information available to you, you empower yourself to make the best choice possible within the given circumstances. Instead of letting the fear of the unknown paralyze you, recognize that you can control your approach to decision-making. This mindset shift helps reduce anxiety and encourages you to take action even when you can't predict the future. Another essential aspect of embracing uncertainty is developing the ability to adapt. Life is constantly changing, and as a result, the best decision today may not be the best decision tomorrow. Flexibility is key. Rational thinking allows you to make decisions based on the best information at the time, but it also equips you with the ability to adjust your course when new information or unexpected developments arise. Adaptability is an important part of a rational mindset because it enables you to remain grounded and make informed adjustments when necessary. For instance, let's say you make a decision to pursue a new career path, but after a few months, you realize the job isn't what you expected. Instead of sticking rigidly to your decision out of a fear of failure, a rational mind allows you to assess the situation, reflect on your goals, and pivot if needed. Adaptability doesn't mean giving up on your decisions, but rather being willing to course correct when circumstances change or when new insights emerge. The ability to adapt is what allows you to navigate uncertainty with confidence, knowing that you can always adjust your plans as needed. One way to cultivate adaptability is by practicing a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed over time through learning and experience. When you approach decision-making with this mindset, you view uncertainty as an opportunity for growth rather than a threat. This shift in perspective allows you to approach each decision with curiosity and resilience, knowing that even if the outcome isn't exactly what you hoped for, you can learn from the experience and use that knowledge to make better decisions in the future. Embracing uncertainty means letting go of the need for perfection. Many people are paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong decision, which often stems from a desire for perfect outcomes. However, no decision is ever completely perfect, and each choice comes with its own set of risks and trade-offs. A rational mind understands that striving for perfection can be a form of self-sabotage. Instead of fearing mistakes or flaws, a rational decision-maker embraces the process of learning from their choices, adjusting their approach as they go, and using each experience as a stepping stone toward better decision-making. Embracing uncertainty allows you to live more freely. When you stop trying to control every variable and accept that uncertainty is a natural part of life, you begin to make decisions with less fear and more confidence. You learn that it's okay not to have all the answers right away, and that the process of making decisions can be just as valuable as the outcomes. This acceptance of uncertainty not only reduces stress, but also opens you up to new opportunities, experiences, and insights that would otherwise be missed if you were too focused on certainty and control. Embracing uncertainty is a key component of developing a rational mind. By accepting that life is unpredictable, focusing on what you can control, learning to adapt when necessary, and cultivating a growth mindset, you can navigate decision-making with greater confidence and ease. Uncertainty will always be a part of life, but by developing the skills to face it head-on, you can make smarter decisions and lead a more resilient, fulfilling life. Embrace the unknown, stay flexible, and trust that your rational mind will guide you through whatever challenges lie ahead. Chapter 10. Learn from every decision you make. The journey to developing a rational mind doesn't end with making a single smart decision or even a series of good choices. It's an ongoing process of reflection, growth, and learning. Every decision, whether it leads to success or failure, holds valuable lessons that can help you refine your decision-making skills and improve your ability to make smarter, more informed choices in the future. By adopting a mindset of continuous learning, you transform every experience into an opportunity for growth, enhancing your ability to navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. One of the most powerful aspects of decision-making is the ability to learn from both your successes and your mistakes. It's easy to feel satisfied with a good outcome and move on without much thought, but to truly develop a rational mind, you must take the time to analyze your decisions, reflect on the outcomes, and ask yourself what you can learn. This practice of learning from each decision helps you become more self-aware and ensures that you don't repeat the same mistakes or fall into the same traps. For example, after making a successful decision, take a step back and reflect on what made it successful. What factors contributed to the positive outcome? Was it the research you did, the careful consideration of your options, the alignment with your values? By identifying the key elements of your success, you can recognize the strategies and approaches that work best for you. This allows you to replicate these actions in future decisions, creating a pattern of success based on rational thinking and informed choices. On the other hand, not every decision will lead to the desired result, and that's okay. In fact, mistakes are one of the best teachers you can have. When a decision doesn't work out as planned, it's easy to feel frustrated or disappointed. However, viewing mistakes as learning opportunities can transform these moments into powerful catalysts for growth. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects, ask yourself, what went wrong? Why did it happen? What could I have done differently? By answering these questions honestly and without self-judgment, you open the door to important insights that can guide your future decisions. Learning from every decision also requires a willingness to be honest with yourself. It's tempting to blame external factors or other people when things don't go as planned, but taking responsibility for your choices allows you to take control of your growth. When you own your decisions, whether they're successful or not, you empower yourself to learn from the experience and apply those lessons moving forward. The key is not to dwell on past mistakes, but to use them as stepping stones to improve your future decision-making. Another important part of learning from your decisions is seeking feedback from others. Often, we get too close to a situation to see it clearly, and an outside perspective can provide valuable insights. Don't be afraid to ask trusted friends, mentors, or colleagues for their opinions on your decisions. They may see things you missed or offer advice on how you could improve your approach. Listening to feedback, even if it's critical, helps you grow and develop a more rounded perspective on your decision-making process. In addition to learning from others, it's essential to develop a habit of self-reflection. Regularly take time to evaluate your decisions, whether big or small, and assess how they align with your values and long-term goals. Are you making decisions that are moving you toward the life you want to create? Are you staying true to your principles, or are external pressures influencing your choices? Self-reflection helps you stay focused on what truly matters and prevents you from getting sidetracked by distractions or temporary emotions. Another key aspect of learning from every decision is understanding that decision-making is an evolving skill. The more you practice it, the better you become. Over time, you will refine your ability to make thoughtful, rational decisions by drawing from your past experiences, both positive and negative. You'll become more adept at weighing your options, considering the potential consequences, and applying logical thinking to a variety of situations. As you gain experience, decision-making will feel more intuitive, and you'll be able to navigate challenges with greater ease and confidence. Remember that no decision-making process is perfect, and there's always room for improvement. Even when you've made a great decision, there's always something new to learn. Embrace the idea that you will continue to grow and refine your decision-making skills throughout your life. The journey of becoming a rational thinker is ongoing, and each experience contributes to your development. By maintaining a mindset of continuous learning, you ensure that you are always evolving and getting better at making decisions that serve your best interests and align with your goals. Learning from every decision you make is a fundamental part of developing a rational mind. By reflecting on your choices, analyzing the outcomes, and being open to feedback and self-improvement, you create a cycle of growth that strengthens your decision-making abilities over time. Each decision, whether it leads to success or failure, is an opportunity to become a better thinker, and with each lesson learned, you get closer to mastering the art of rational decision-making. By embracing this process, you empower yourself to navigate life's challenges with clarity, confidence, and wisdom. Chapter 11. Trust your rational mind and build confidence in your decisions. The final step in developing a rational mind is learning to trust the process you've built and having confidence in the decisions you make. Throughout this journey, you've developed strategies for rational thinking, emotional management, critical reflection, and learning from experience. Now, it's time to step forward with trust in your ability to make the right choice, even when the path ahead isn't entirely clear. Confidence in your decisions doesn't mean having absolute certainty about every outcome, but it means trusting that you've used your logical thinking, gathered the right information, and considered the various perspectives to make the best decision possible in that moment. Trusting your rational mind is all about letting go of self-doubt and the constant second-guessing that can prevent us from moving forward. When you're faced with a decision, it's normal to experience some hesitation or uncertainty, especially when the stakes are high. But instead of getting stuck in a loop of overthinking or fearing that you might make the wrong choice, learn to trust in the thoughtful, deliberate process you've followed. Trust that the steps you've taken, gathering information, weighing the pros and cons, considering your options, have led you to the most informed decision possible. One of the biggest hurdles to trusting your rational mind is the fear of making mistakes or making the wrong decision. We live in a world that often emphasizes perfection and results, and it can be easy to fall into the trap of thinking that a single decision can define our success or failure. However, Rational thinking understands that no one can always make the perfect decision every time, and that mistakes are a natural part of the process. It's not about always getting the outcome you expect, but about making the best choice based on the information available and learning from every experience, whether positive or negative. To build trust in your decision-making process, it helps to recall your past successes. When you look back on previous decisions that turned out well, remind yourself of the thoughtfulness, care, and logic you applied at the time. Recognize that those decisions were made with the same rational process you've now developed, and trust that this process works. Confidence grows when we acknowledge our past victories and remind ourselves of the skills and tools we have built over time. Another way to build confidence in your decisions is by setting realistic expectations. While it's natural to want a perfect outcome, part of being confident in your decision-making is accepting that results are often unpredictable. Focus on the quality of the process, knowing that you've made your decision based on solid reasoning. With this mindset, you're more likely to feel confident moving forward, because you understand that success comes not only from achieving specific outcomes, but also from consistently applying sound decision-making principles. It's also essential to recognize that decision-making is not a one-time event, but an ongoing skill. Every choice you make, no matter how big or small, is a step toward refining your ability to think rationally. Even when a decision doesn't lead to the desired outcome, you can use it as an opportunity to reflect, learn, and improve. The more you trust in your ability to learn from each experience, the more confident you'll become in your decision-making process. Over time, this consistent practice of making thoughtful decisions will increase your belief in your own judgment. Sometimes, confidence in decision-making comes from practicing small decisions regularly. As you apply your rational decision-making process to everyday situations, whether it's choosing what to eat, managing your time, or handling a minor conflict, you build your confidence in the larger decisions that come your way. The more you practice using logic and evidence to guide your choices, the more natural it will feel to trust yourself when faced with bigger, more complex decisions. Another important aspect of trusting your rational mind is understanding that you don't need to have all the answers up front. It's okay to take the time to research, reflect, and weigh options before making a decision. The confidence to make a decision doesn't come from having perfect foresight. It comes from knowing that you have the ability to make the best decision with the knowledge you have at the time and the skills to adjust along the way if necessary. Confidence also comes from knowing that you can handle the consequences of your decisions, whether they are positive or negative. Every experience is an opportunity to learn and grow, which ultimately enhances your decision-making abilities. Building confidence in your rational mind also involves managing external pressures. We live in a society where there's often pressure to make decisions quickly or to follow what others are doing. However, true confidence comes from making decisions that are right for you, based on your values, goals, and logic. Trusting your own mind means being able to say no to external pressures and confidently stand by the decisions you make, even if they're not the popular choice. Trusting your rational mind is about giving yourself the permission to make decisions without constant self-doubt or fear of making mistakes. By practicing thoughtful, evidence-based decision-making, building confidence from past experiences, and embracing both successes and failures as opportunities for growth, you strengthen your ability to trust yourself. Over time, this trust becomes a core part of your mindset, allowing you to approach challenges with clarity, calmness, and a deep belief in your ability to make smart choices. Trust your rational mind, and you'll find that each decision you make is a step toward greater confidence, greater success, and greater peace of mind. Chapter 12. Cultivate patience and learn to wait for the right moment. In today's fast-paced world, it can often feel like everything requires an immediate decision or instant action. Whether it's responding to an urgent email, making a snap judgment about a new opportunity, or feeling pressured to make a decision quickly, we are constantly encouraged to act fast. However, one of the most important aspects of developing a rational mind is learning the value of patience and the power of waiting for the right moment to make a decision. Patience doesn't mean being passive or indecisive. It means allowing yourself the time and space to gather information, reflect, and make the most informed and thoughtful decision possible. Cultivating patience in decision-making starts with recognizing that not every choice needs to be made immediately. In fact, some of the best decisions are those that are made with a clear mind and after careful consideration. When you feel the urge to rush into a decision, take a step back and give yourself the time to reflect. Sometimes, simply allowing yourself to pause and detach from the pressure of the moment will help you see the situation more clearly and make a decision that is more aligned with your long-term goals and values. One of the reasons why patience is so crucial to rational thinking is that it helps you avoid impulsive decisions driven by immediate emotions. When we rush, our decisions are often influenced by anxiety, excitement, or fear, emotions that cloud our judgment and lead to outcomes we may later regret. By practicing patience, you give yourself the chance to clear your mind of these emotional influences and approach the decision with a more balanced, rational perspective. Another key benefit of patience is that it allows you to gather all the necessary information before making a decision. In many situations, the right course of action becomes clearer as more details emerge. Whether it's waiting for new data, taking time to consider feedback from others, or giving yourself the space to think through all possible outcomes, patience enables you to make more informed, well-rounded choices. When you act too quickly, you risk making decisions based on incomplete or inaccurate information, which can have long-term consequences. The more you learn to wait for the right moment, the more confident and capable you will feel in your decision-making. Patience also allows you to avoid the trap of over-analyzing a situation, which can often lead to analysis paralysis. While it's important to gather information and reflect, constantly overthinking can prevent you from making any decision at all. This is where the balance between patience and action comes in. The key is to be patient enough to gather the information you need and reflect on the decision, but not so patient that you delay making a choice out of fear or indecision. A rational mind knows when to act and when to wait, ensuring that every decision is made at the right moment. Learning to wait for the right moment also means understanding the importance of timing. Sometimes, even if you've made all the necessary preparations and gathered all the information, the timing just isn't right for a decision. Waiting for the right time to act can make all the difference between success and failure. Whether it's waiting for the right market conditions, the right opportunity, or simply the right mental state, patience teaches you to trust in the process and wait for the circumstances that align with your goals. This doesn't mean being passive, but rather being strategic in when you make your move. Additionally, cultivating patience in decision-making allows you to avoid the stress that comes from rushing or making hasty choices. When we rush, we often experience heightened anxiety, which clouds our thinking and makes it difficult to think clearly. By practicing patience, you create a sense of calm and control, allowing you to approach decisions with a clear, focused mind. This mental clarity is essential for making rational decisions that are aligned with your long-term goals and values. Another important aspect of patience is its role in building resilience. Life is full of uncertainties, and not every decision will lead to the outcome we hope for. However, when you learn to be patient and trust in the process, you develop the resilience to handle challenges and setbacks. Patience allows you to take each decision, whether successful or not, as an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of feeling discouraged or defeated by outcomes that don't go as planned, you can remain calm and collected, knowing that every experience contributes to your personal growth and decision-making ability. As you develop the ability to wait for the right moment, you also cultivate greater self-discipline. Patience requires the ability to delay gratification, resist the urge to act impulsively, and stay focused on the bigger picture. These qualities help you make more thoughtful decisions that align with your long-term goals, rather than being swayed by short-term impulses or external pressures. Over time, as you strengthen your patience and self-discipline, you'll find that your decision-making becomes more intentional, focused, and effective. Cultivating patience is an essential part of developing a rational mind. It allows you to make more informed decisions, avoid impulsive reactions, and take the time needed to gather the necessary information and consider all options. By learning to wait for the right moment, you empower yourself to make better choices that align with your values and long-term goals. Patience is not about being passive. It's about strategically using time to enhance your decision-making process, reduce stress, and build resilience. With patience, you can approach every decision with clarity, confidence, and the wisdom to know when to act and when to wait. Chapter 13. Strengthen your decision-making through consistent practice. The ability to make sound decisions is not something that develops overnight. It is a skill that grows stronger with time, practice, and deliberate effort. Every decision you make, whether small or large, offers an opportunity to hone your decision-making abilities and reinforce the rational thinking habits you've developed. Like any other skill, your decision-making becomes sharper and more intuitive the more you practice it. Strengthening this skill requires commitment, consistency, and a focus on continuous improvement. The first step in strengthening your decision-making is to make a conscious effort to practice it in every area of your life. From simple daily choices like what to eat or how to organize your time, to more significant decisions about your career or relationships, each decision is an opportunity to apply the principles you've learned and refine your process. By consciously applying rational thinking to your everyday decisions, you build the habit of thoughtful analysis and logical reasoning. Over time, making sound decisions will become second nature, and you'll find that the more you practice, the more confident and skilled you become in navigating complex choices. Start by consistently applying your decision-making framework to smaller decisions. This could involve things like evaluating how to spend your time each day, choosing which projects to prioritize, or deciding how to handle minor conflicts. Practicing with smaller decisions allows you to build confidence in your ability to think critically and rationally before you apply these skills to more high-stakes choices. Even the smallest decisions can teach you valuable lessons that improve your overall decision-making process. For example, if you find yourself overthinking a minor choice, use this as an opportunity to practice simplifying the decision-making process and trusting in the steps you've already put in place. Another way to strengthen your decision-making is by tracking your choices and outcomes over time. Keeping a decision journal can be a valuable tool for reflecting on past decisions, noting the process you used, and analyzing the results. By looking back at the decisions you've made, you can identify patterns, both positive and negative, that will inform your future choices. For instance, if you notice that your most successful decisions were those where you took more time to reflect and gather information, this insight will help you slow down and take a more measured approach in similar situations. Tracking your decisions provides an objective view of your decision-making process and allows you to learn from both your successes and mistakes. While it's important to track and reflect on your decisions, It's also vital to understand that not every decision will be perfect. Some decisions will lead to unexpected outcomes, and others may not produce the results you hoped for. However, rational thinking involves accepting that mistakes and setbacks are a natural part of the decision-making process. The key is to treat these moments as opportunities for growth rather than as failures. Each misstep provides valuable lessons that help refine your judgment and improve your ability to make better decisions in the future. The more you embrace this mindset of continuous improvement, the stronger your decision-making skills will become over time. You can also strengthen your decision-making by seeking feedback from others. Whether it's asking a trusted friend, mentor, or colleague for their perspective, or participating in group decision-making processes, learning from others' viewpoints provides valuable insights that you may have missed on your own. Feedback can highlight blind spots, help you see things from a different angle, and offer new ideas that improve your approach. By incorporating feedback into your decision-making process, you expand your understanding and ensure that you're making the most informed choices possible. In addition to external feedback, it's crucial to regularly check in with yourself and evaluate how your decisions align with your long-term goals and values. Sometimes we can get caught up in the immediate circumstances or external pressures, which can lead to decisions that aren't fully aligned with our deeper intentions. Periodically stepping back to reassess your decisions and goals ensures that you stay on track and that your choices continue to serve your overall purpose. This self-awareness reinforces the rational thinking process and ensures that your decisions are not just logically sound, but also aligned with your personal vision. Another powerful way to strengthen your decision-making is by exposing yourself to new challenges and experiences. Stepping outside of your comfort zone and taking on new opportunities helps stretch your decision-making muscles and broadens your perspective. Whether it's tackling a new project at work, learning a new skill, or simply navigating a new social situation, each new experience presents an opportunity to apply your decision-making process in a fresh context. These challenges help you grow, develop new insights, and build the resilience necessary to handle more complex decisions in the future. Over time, as you consistently apply the principles of rational thinking and make thoughtful, evidence-based decisions, you will notice a significant improvement in your decision-making abilities. The process of refining your skills becomes a feedback loop. The more you practice, the better you become, and the better you become, the more confidence you have in your ability to make smart decisions. You will find that you are able to navigate even the most complex or high-pressure situations with greater ease, knowing that you have the tools and experience necessary to make rational, well-informed choices. Strengthening your decision-making is an ongoing process that requires consistent practice, reflection, and a willingness to learn from every experience. The more you practice rational thinking in your daily life, the more intuitive it will become. By tracking your decisions, seeking feedback, and staying aligned with your values and goals, you ensure that your decision-making process is continually evolving and improving. Over time, your ability to make sound decisions will become a powerful tool that helps you achieve your long-term vision, navigate life's challenges with confidence, and ultimately create a life built on thoughtful, intentional choices. Chapter 14. Foster self-awareness to enhance your decision-making. One of the most powerful ways to improve your decision-making abilities is through self-awareness. Being aware of your thoughts, feelings, biases, and tendencies enables you to make more informed, logical decisions. Self-awareness isn't just about knowing your strengths and weaknesses. It's about understanding how your internal world influences the way you perceive situations and make choices. The more you understand yourself, the better equipped you are to make decisions that are aligned with your values, goals, and rational thought. Self-awareness starts with recognizing the influence of your emotions on decision-making. We are often unaware of how much our emotions can shape our decisions. For instance, if you're feeling anxious, you might rush into a decision to avoid discomfort, even if it's not the best course of action. Alternatively, if you're excited, you might be overly optimistic and fail to consider potential risks. By becoming aware of your emotional states, you can step back and take a more objective look at your situation. Emotional awareness helps you separate your feelings from your reasoning, which is essential for rational thinking. To foster emotional awareness, start by paying attention to how you feel in different situations. Before making any significant decision, ask yourself how you're feeling. Are you anxious, frustrated, elated, angry? Take note of how these emotions might be affecting your thinking. Recognize that while emotions are natural and valuable, they can sometimes cloud your judgment. Once you identify your emotions, you can take steps to manage them effectively. Techniques such as deep breathing, mindfulness, or taking a break can help you center yourself and return to a calm, rational state. In addition to emotional awareness, self-awareness also involves understanding your cognitive biases, the unconscious mental shortcuts that can lead to faulty decision-making. These biases, like confirmation bias, seeking information that supports your existing beliefs, or anchoring bias, relying too heavily on the first piece of information you encounter, often influence our decisions without us even realizing it. By becoming aware of these biases, you can learn to recognize when they're at play and adjust your thinking accordingly. This awareness allows you to approach decisions with a more open mind and a clearer perspective. For example, if you recognize that you have a tendency toward confirmation bias, you can actively seek out information that challenges your assumptions, ensuring that your decisions are based on a broader range of perspectives. Similarly, by being aware of the anchoring bias, you can avoid making decisions based solely on the first piece of information you encounter and instead gather a more comprehensive view before making a choice. Understanding your biases enables you to think critically and avoid the mental traps that can lead to poor decisions. Another aspect of self-awareness is understanding your personal values, goals, and priorities. When you are clear about what matters most to you, it becomes easier to make decisions that are aligned with your long-term vision. Self-awareness helps you clarify your priorities so you can make choices that reflect your true desires rather than being swayed by external pressures or temporary desires. For instance, if you value work-life balance, you may decide not to take on an overwhelming job opportunity that would compromise your personal time. If health is a top priority for you, you may choose to turn down an invitation to indulge in unhealthy habits. Take time to reflect on your core values regularly. Ask yourself, what is most important to me in my life, both personally and professionally? What do I want to prioritize in the coming months or years? When you have a clear understanding of your values, you can make decisions that reflect your true self, rather than reacting to external influences or fleeting emotions. This deep alignment between your values and decisions leads to greater satisfaction and fulfillment in the long run. Self-awareness also means understanding how your past experiences shape your decisions. We are all influenced by our history, whether it's past successes, failures, or life lessons. However, the key is to be aware of how these experiences shape your current thinking. For instance, if you had a negative experience with a similar situation in the past, you may be more hesitant to make a similar decision, even if the circumstances are different. Alternatively, if you've had a string of successes, you might become overconfident and fail to consider potential risks. By reflecting on your past experiences, you can identify patterns in your decision-making and make adjustments to avoid repeating mistakes or overestimating your abilities. To improve your self-awareness, set aside regular time for self-reflection. Journaling is an excellent tool for this. It allows you to track your thoughts, feelings, and experiences over time. By writing about your decisions and the outcomes they led to, you gain insight into your decision-making process. Reflecting on your choices, both good and bad, helps you learn from your mistakes and reinforces the positive habits you want to cultivate. Another useful practice for building self-awareness is seeking feedback from others. Sometimes we can be too close to a situation to see it clearly. Asking for feedback from trusted colleagues, friends, or mentors can provide you with valuable perspectives on your decision-making process. They may be able to point out blind spots or offer suggestions for improvement. Embrace feedback as a tool for growth and use it to deepen your understanding of yourself and refine your decision-making abilities. The more self-aware you become, the more capable you are of making rational decisions. You'll be better able to recognize when your emotions, biases, or past experiences are influencing your choices, and you'll have the tools to manage them. Self-awareness allows you to make decisions that are aligned with your values, goals, and rational thinking, ensuring that your choices are thoughtful, deliberate, and in your best interest. Self-awareness is an essential component of rational decision-making. By cultivating emotional awareness, understanding your biases, clarifying your values, reflecting on your past experiences, and seeking feedback from others, you build a strong foundation for making smarter, more informed decisions. Self-awareness doesn't just help you make better choices, it also fosters a deeper sense of fulfillment and alignment with your true self. The more you practice self-awareness, the more confident and capable you become in navigating life's decisions, knowing that each choice is made with clarity, purpose, and intention. Chapter 15. Cultivate a growth mindset for continuous improvement. One of the most powerful ways to enhance your decision-making ability and build a rational mind is to cultivate a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, including your decision-making skills, can be developed and improved over time through effort, learning, and perseverance. When you approach life with a growth mindset, you embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, see failures as learning experiences, and recognize that your capacity to make good decisions is not fixed, but can be expanded with each decision you make. At the heart of a growth mindset is the belief that intelligence and skills are not innate traits, but rather qualities that can be nurtured and refined. This belief frees you from the fear of failure and opens the door to continual learning and improvement. When you approach decision-making from this perspective, you are more likely to take calculated risks, try new approaches, and keep refining your process, knowing that every experience, whether successful or not, contributes to your overall growth. The first step in cultivating a growth mindset is shifting your perspective on failure. Often, people view failure as something to be avoided at all costs. We fear the consequences of making the wrong decision or being wrong in front of others. However, with a growth mindset, failure is not seen as a reflection of our abilities, but rather as a valuable opportunity for learning. Every decision that doesn't lead to the desired outcome offers important feedback, insights into what went wrong, what could have been done differently, and how to approach future decisions more effectively. Instead of being discouraged by setbacks, embrace them as part of the learning process and use them to refine your decision-making skills. For example, if a decision you made didn't turn out as planned, instead of focusing on the negative, ask yourself, what lessons can I take from this? How can I apply this new knowledge to future decisions? By reframing failure as a stepping stone rather than an obstacle, you develop resilience and become more confident in your ability to make smart decisions moving forward. Over time, this mindset shift builds your ability to handle complex decisions with greater ease and less fear of making mistakes. Another key element of a growth mindset is embracing challenges and discomfort. Rational decision-making often involves stepping outside your comfort zone, whether it's making a big life change, taking on a new responsibility, or facing a difficult situation. It's easy to shy away from challenges when the outcome is uncertain, but a growth mindset encourages you to lean into discomfort and see it as a chance to stretch your thinking and grow. The more you challenge yourself, the more opportunities you have to develop your decision-making abilities. Rather than avoiding difficult decisions, you learn to approach them with curiosity and confidence, knowing that even if the decision doesn't go perfectly, you'll grow stronger through the process. To foster a growth mindset, start by focusing on the effort you put into your decisions rather than the outcome. For example, when making a tough decision, think about the research you did, the logic you applied, and the careful thought you invested in the process. When you value effort over results, you're more likely to appreciate the growth that comes from each experience, whether the decision leads to success or not. Recognize that rational thinking, like any other skill, improves with consistent practice and dedication. Each time you make a thoughtful decision, you're reinforcing the neural pathways that support your decision-making ability, making it easier to make wise choices in the future. A growth mindset also encourages a willingness to seek feedback and advice from others. By listening to diverse perspectives, you open yourself up to new ideas and approaches that can improve your decision-making. Feedback from others helps you recognize blind spots, expand your knowledge, and refine your decision-making process. People with a growth mindset are always looking for ways to improve, and they understand that there is always something new to learn, whether it's from books, mentors, or their own experiences. Cultivating this openness to feedback is an essential part of developing a rational mind, as it helps you identify areas for improvement and build on your strengths. A growth mindset involves self-compassion. It's natural to feel disappointed when a decision doesn't go as planned, but it's important not to be overly harsh on yourself. Understand that no one is perfect, and making mistakes is part of the human experience. Instead of criticizing yourself, practice self-compassion and acknowledge that you did the best you could with the information and resources available at the time. Treat yourself with kindness and recognize that growth comes through effort and perseverance. When you approach yourself with self-compassion, you're more likely to stay motivated, resilient, and open to learning from your experiences. One practical way to nurture a growth mindset in your decision-making is to set small, achievable goals that allow you to practice your skills regularly. For instance, you might set a goal to practice making more informed, rational decisions in your daily life, whether it's choosing how to manage your time, how to communicate with others, or how to handle challenges at work. By setting smaller goals and tracking your progress, you create a sense of momentum and accomplishment which fuels your growth. Over time, these small victories will add up, and you'll find that your decision-making abilities become more refined and natural. Remember that a growth mindset is a lifelong commitment. Developing a rational mind and improving your decision-making skills doesn't happen overnight. It requires continuous effort and a willingness to evolve. The more you practice, learn, and reflect on your experiences, the more confident and capable you become in making sound decisions. Each step forward is a reflection of your commitment to personal growth, and as you embrace challenges, learn from failures, and constantly strive to improve, you will continue to enhance your ability to make smart, rational decisions in all areas of your life. Cultivating a growth mindset is essential for continuously improving your decision-making abilities. by reframing failure as a learning opportunity, embracing challenges, focusing on effort over results, seeking feedback, practicing self-compassion, and setting achievable goals, you create a foundation for ongoing growth. With a growth mindset, you'll approach each decision with curiosity, confidence, and the understanding that every choice is a chance to learn and improve. Through consistent practice, you will strengthen your ability to make rational, informed decisions and navigate life with greater clarity and purpose. Chapter 16. Develop emotional intelligence for better decision-making. Emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful tools you can develop to enhance your decision-making abilities. While rational thinking and logic are essential for making sound decisions, emotions also play a significant role in how we process information and react to situations. Emotional intelligence allows you to understand and manage your emotions, recognize the emotions of others, and use this awareness to guide your decisions in a balanced, effective way. In decision-making, emotional intelligence enables you to harness emotions in a constructive manner while avoiding impulsive reactions that can cloud judgment. The first key component of emotional intelligence is self-awareness, the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions. Self-awareness helps you tune in to how you're feeling in a given moment and how your emotions might be influencing your thoughts and decisions. For example, if you're feeling frustrated or angry, you may be more likely to make a hasty decision or react impulsively. However, by being self-aware, you can pause and recognize these feelings before they influence your behavior, giving yourself the space to make a more thoughtful choice. Self-awareness also involves understanding why you feel the way you do. Are you feeling anxious because you're facing an unfamiliar situation? Or are you excited about a potential opportunity but overlooking potential risks because of your enthusiasm? By digging deeper into the root causes of your emotions, you gain valuable insight into how they shape your thinking. This understanding helps you regulate your emotions, preventing them from clouding your judgment and ensuring that you make decisions based on rational thought rather than emotional impulses. The second component of emotional intelligence is self-regulation, the ability to manage your emotions effectively. Self-regulation is especially important when you're faced with high-stress situations or difficult decisions. When emotions like anxiety, anger, or excitement arise, they can overwhelm your ability to think clearly. Self-regulation allows you to remain calm and composed, even in the face of intense emotions. One powerful way to practice self-regulation is through mindfulness. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment, allowing you to acknowledge and accept your emotions without being controlled by them. When you practice mindfulness, you can take a step back from your emotions and gain clarity on how to proceed with a decision. For example, if you're facing a challenging decision at work and feel overwhelmed by the pressure, mindfulness techniques like deep breathing or meditation can help you center yourself and calm your mind, allowing you to approach the situation with a clearer, more rational perspective. Another aspect of self-regulation is impulse control. In many situations, emotions drive us to act immediately without thinking through the consequences. For example, you may impulsively agree to take on a new project at work because you feel flattered by the offer, only to regret it later because it adds unnecessary stress to your schedule. Emotional intelligence helps you recognize these impulses and choose to respond thoughtfully rather than reacting on autopilot. Practicing impulse control gives you the time and space to consider your options, weigh the pros and cons, and make a more rational decision. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is another crucial element of emotional intelligence that enhances decision-making. Empathy allows you to consider how your decisions will impact others, which is especially important in interpersonal relationships and leadership situations. By putting yourself in someone else's shoes, you can make decisions that are not only rational but also compassionate and considerate of the feelings and needs of others. For example, if you're in a leadership position and need to make a decision that will affect your team, empathy allows you to think about how your choice will impact their morale, workload, and overall well-being. When you can empathize with others, you're more likely to make decisions that take their needs into account and lead to positive outcomes for everyone involved. Empathy also helps you manage conflicts more effectively, as it allows you to understand where others are coming from and find solutions that are fair and mutually beneficial. In addition to empathy, emotional intelligence involves the ability to motivate yourself, to harness your emotions and drive to achieve your goals. Motivation rooted in emotional intelligence is more sustainable than motivation based solely on external rewards. When you're in tune with your emotions, you can identify what truly drives you, whether it's a sense of purpose, personal values, or long-term goals, and use that emotional energy to stay focused and determined in making decisions that align with your vision. If you're deciding whether to take a challenging career opportunity, emotional intelligence allows you to tap into your deeper motivations. Are you excited about the growth potential? Does it align with your long-term career goals? Or are you motivated by external factors, such as the prestige or salary, that may not provide lasting fulfillment? Emotional intelligence helps you distinguish between short-term desires and long-term values, guiding you toward decisions that will bring you greater satisfaction in the future. Social skills, the ability to navigate and manage relationships effectively, are another crucial aspect of emotional intelligence. Good social skills help you communicate more effectively, resolve conflicts, and collaborate with others in ways that lead to positive outcomes. Strong social skills also help you gather diverse perspectives when making decisions, allowing you to weigh different viewpoints and make more informed choices. For example, if you're making a decision about a business partnership, strong social skills allow you to foster open communication and negotiate effectively to ensure that everyone's needs are met. Developing emotional intelligence in decision-making involves practice and ongoing self-reflection. To enhance your EQ, start by paying attention to how your emotions influence your decisions. Practice mindfulness techniques to manage strong emotions and regularly check in with yourself to assess how well you're regulating your feelings. Seek to understand the emotions of others and how your decisions might impact them. By becoming more emotionally intelligent, you improve not only your ability to make rational decisions, but also your ability to connect with others, collaborate effectively, and lead with empathy. Emotional intelligence is an essential skill for making well-rounded, rational decisions. By cultivating self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, motivation, and social skills, you build a decision-making process that takes into account both logical reasoning and emotional understanding. Emotional intelligence helps you navigate the complexities of life, make decisions that align with your values, and respond thoughtfully to the emotions of yourself and others. With a high level of emotional intelligence, you can approach decision-making with balance, clarity, and compassion, leading to outcomes that are not only rational, but also emotionally fulfilling. Chapter 17. Align your decisions with your long-term vision. One of the most powerful aspects of developing a rational mind is learning to make decisions that align with your long-term vision. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the immediate pressures, distractions, and short-term rewards that cloud our judgment. Whether it's the desire for instant gratification, the influence of external expectations, or the constant stream of options available to us, it can be difficult to focus on the bigger picture. However, aligning your decisions with your long-term vision is one of the most effective ways to ensure that the choices you make today contribute to the life you want to create for yourself in the future. A clear long-term vision is a crucial foundation for making rational decisions. When you know what you want your life to look like in the future, whether it's in terms of your career, relationships, health, personal development, or other areas, you can make choices that align with that vision. This sense of direction gives you a clear roadmap, helping you navigate life's uncertainties with purpose and clarity. Without a long-term vision, it's easy to feel lost or pulled in different directions, making decisions that are not aligned with your true desires or goals. To begin aligning your decisions with your long-term vision, start by defining that vision. Take the time to reflect on what you truly want in the various areas of your life. Ask yourself, where do I want to be in 5, 10, or even 20 years? What values and principles do I want to guide my life? What achievements or experiences do I want to look back on? By answering these questions, you gain a clearer understanding of your overarching goals and what matters most to you. This vision becomes your compass, guiding you as you navigate both small and big decisions. Once you have a clear vision, you can begin to filter your decisions through it. Before making a choice, ask yourself whether the decision aligns with your long-term goals. For example, if you're considering a job opportunity that offers immediate financial gain but requires you to compromise on your values or long-term growth, the decision may not be aligned with your vision. On the other hand, if you have the chance to take on a project that may require some short-term sacrifices but brings you closer to your larger goals, this choice would be more in alignment with your vision. By keeping your long-term vision in mind, you reduce the likelihood of making impulsive decisions based on short-term gratification or external pressures. It helps you stay focused on what truly matters and prevents you from getting sidetracked by distractions or fleeting desires. This focus on long-term goals can be especially helpful in moments of uncertainty, as it allows you to zoom out from the immediate situation and consider how your decision fits into the bigger picture. It's important to remember that not every decision will result in immediate results, and sometimes the path to your long-term vision may require patience, persistence, and hard work. While making short-term sacrifices can sometimes feel difficult, the payoff in terms of aligning with your vision can be profound. For instance, you may need to invest time in acquiring new skills, building relationships, or saving money to achieve long-term career or personal goals. Although these investments may not pay off immediately, they are investments that will help you get closer to your desired future. Another way to ensure your decisions are aligned with your long-term vision is by regularly checking in with yourself. Life circumstances change, and so do our goals and values. By taking time to reflect regularly on your vision and how your decisions are contributing to it, you can make adjustments as necessary. This reflection process can also help you evaluate whether your current path is still the right one or if you need to redefine your vision. Over time, your long-term goals may evolve, and that's okay. The key is to remain flexible and open to change while still making decisions that are aligned with your core values and aspirations. Aligning your decisions with your long-term vision helps you build a sense of resilience. When you know that your decisions are grounded in your values and connected to your ultimate goals, it becomes easier to stay motivated, even in the face of setbacks or challenges. The path toward your vision is rarely linear, and obstacles will inevitably arise. However, when you can see how each decision contributes to your long-term progress, you are better equipped to stay focused and persevere, even during difficult times. One of the most significant advantages of aligning decisions with a long-term vision is that it creates a sense of purpose and fulfillment. When your choices are consistent with your values and aspirations, you are more likely to feel satisfied and fulfilled in the long run. Even small daily decisions, such as how you spend your time, whom you surround yourself with, and how you take care of your health, become meaningful when they align with your larger vision. Instead of feeling like you're going through the motions or making decisions that lead to temporary satisfaction, you feel connected to something bigger, which fuels your motivation and determination. Aligning your decisions with your long-term vision is a powerful way to ensure that you're making decisions that truly serve your best interests and contribute to the life you want to create. By defining your vision, regularly checking in with yourself, and filtering your decisions through the lens of your long-term goals, you create a life that is intentional, purposeful, and aligned with your deepest values. This approach reduces the tendency to make impulsive decisions driven by temporary desires or external pressures, and instead focuses on making thoughtful, rational choices that bring you closer to your future aspirations. As you continue to align your decisions with your vision, you'll find that each step you take moves you closer to the life you've always imagined. Chapter 18. Learn to trust the process and let go of perfection. One of the most crucial elements of effective decision-making and developing a rational mind is learning to trust the process. In a world where perfection is often idealized, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that every decision must be flawless or that failure is something to avoid at all costs. However, true success and personal growth come not from making perfect decisions every time, but from consistently applying a thoughtful and rational process to each choice you make. Learning to trust the process means embracing imperfection and recognizing that every decision is part of a broader journey of growth and development. Trusting the process over perfection. The desire for perfection can be paralyzing. It often leads to overthinking, excessive planning, and fear of making the wrong choice. When you strive for perfection, you may hesitate to take any action at all, worried that even the slightest mistake could lead to failure. However, perfection is an unrealistic standard, and the pursuit of it can ultimately hinder progress. Every decision involves some level of uncertainty, and no outcome can be guaranteed. Trusting the process allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that the key to success lies in thoughtful decision-making, not in an unattainable ideal. Instead of focusing on making the perfect decision, focus on the steps you take to reach your conclusion. Rational decision-making is about gathering information, considering your options, and evaluating the consequences of each choice. When you trust the process, you can make decisions with clarity and conviction, even if the results are uncertain. Embrace the idea that you are not required to be perfect. You simply need to apply logic, assess the situation carefully, and learn from each experience. Embrace mistakes as opportunities for growth. One of the main reasons people fear making decisions is the fear of failure or making mistakes. However, mistakes are a natural part of life and can be the most valuable learning experiences. When you trust the process, you understand that mistakes don't define you. Rather, they are opportunities for growth and development. Every mistake offers insight into what went wrong and how you can approach similar situations in the future. Instead of viewing mistakes as failures, view them as stepping stones that bring you closer to becoming a better decision-maker. Imagine you make a decision that leads to an unfavorable outcome, whether in your career, relationships, or personal life. Rather than dwelling on the negative, take time to reflect on what you learned from the experience. What were the key factors that contributed to the decision? Were there any signs you missed or warning signals you ignored? By reflecting on these questions, you gain valuable insights that help you refine your decision-making process moving forward. Accepting uncertainty and imperfection. Perfectionism often stems from a fear of the unknown. When making decisions, there is always an element of uncertainty, and it's easy to become anxious about what might go wrong. But uncertainty is a natural part of life, and it's something you must learn to embrace. Accepting that you can't predict every outcome allows you to move forward with a sense of peace and trust in your ability to navigate whatever comes your way. Instead of seeking certainty in every decision, trust that you have the skills and the rational process to make the best choice possible, even in the face of uncertainty. When you trust yourself and the process, you can approach decisions with confidence, knowing that you are doing your best with the information you have at the time. Recognize that the fear of uncertainty should not paralyze you, but motivate you to think clearly, gather information, and take action. Consistency and patience are key. Trusting the process also means understanding that success is built through consistent effort over time. You may not always make the perfect decision, but by consistently applying rational thinking and making thoughtful choices, you build a foundation for future success. The more you practice making decisions, the more confident you will become in your ability to navigate challenges and uncertainties. Patience is essential when trusting the process. It can be tempting to want quick results or to expect that every decision will lead to an immediate payoff. However, lasting success and growth take time. Be patient with yourself as you develop your decision-making abilities. Trust that each decision, no matter how big or small, contributes to your ongoing personal and professional growth. When you stop focusing on perfection and instead focus on progress, you give yourself the freedom to move forward, take risks, and ultimately create the life you want. Trusting your instincts and your rational process. While rational thinking and logical analysis are essential components of good decision-making, it's also important to trust your instincts. Your intuition can be a valuable guide, particularly in situations where you may not have all the facts or where logical analysis doesn't provide a clear answer. By trusting your instincts and using them in conjunction with your rational process, you create a more holistic approach to decision-making. This doesn't mean disregarding logic or jumping into decisions based on feelings alone. Instead, it means trusting that your intuition, honed by experience, can help you recognize the right course of action when faced with uncertainty. Combining rational thinking with emotional intelligence and gut instincts allows you to make well-rounded decisions that reflect both your rational analysis and your deeper understanding of the situation. Letting go of the need for control. Another aspect of trusting the process is letting go of the need to control every outcome. It's natural to want to steer things in the direction we desire, but life often has its own rhythm and flow. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, things don't unfold exactly how we expect them to. Trusting the process means releasing the need to control everything and accepting that not every decision will have a perfect outcome. However, by focusing on making the best possible decision at the time and learning from the results, you remain in control of your growth and progress. Building confidence over time. Ultimately, trusting the process builds confidence in your ability to make decisions. When you stop obsessing over perfection and embrace the idea that mistakes and uncertainty are part of the journey, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and fear. With each decision you make, you become more adept at navigating challenges and moving closer to your goals. Trusting the process allows you to approach decision-making with a clear mind and an open heart, ready to learn and grow from each experience. Trusting the process and letting go of the need for perfection are key to developing a rational mind and making confident decisions. Perfection is an unrealistic goal, and the true value of decision-making lies in the thoughtful approach you take, not in an unattainable ideal. Embrace mistakes, accept uncertainty, and focus on consistent progress. By trusting yourself and the process, you'll find that decision-making becomes easier, more effective, and more aligned with your long-term vision. Every step forward, even if imperfect, is a step toward the life you're building. Chapter 19. Embrace flexibility and adaptability in your decision-making. One of the most important aspects of developing a rational mind and making effective decisions is the ability to embrace flexibility and adaptability. Life is full of change, uncertainty, and unexpected events, and rigid thinking can lead to frustration and missed opportunities. When you learn to remain flexible in your decision-making process, you open yourself up to new possibilities, growth, and better outcomes. Flexibility in decision-making doesn't mean abandoning your long-term vision or goals, but rather being willing to adjust your approach as new information or circumstances arise. The importance of flexibility in decision-making. Flexibility is crucial because it allows you to adapt to evolving situations and make the best choices based on current realities, not outdated assumptions or previous commitments. For instance, when you're faced with a significant life choice, such as a career move or a personal change, there will often be unexpected factors that you couldn't have anticipated. Being too rigid in your thinking can prevent you from seeing the bigger picture or taking advantage of new opportunities that might align better with your long-term vision. Flexible decision-making helps you remain open to new ideas, alternative approaches, and adjustments when necessary. It's important to recognize that no decision-making process is ever entirely predictable, and life rarely unfolds as we expect. Being willing to adapt allows you to pivot when needed, maintaining control over your journey without being overwhelmed by the unexpected. This adaptability makes you more resilient and capable of handling challenges as they come. Recognizing when to stay the course versus when to adjust. A big part of flexible decision-making is knowing when to stay the course and when to make adjustments. Sticking to a decision simply because you've committed to it can be detrimental, especially if new information or changed circumstances suggest that a different path would be more beneficial. For example, if you're pursuing a business venture and realize it's not generating the results you hoped for, continuing down the same path without re-evaluating your strategy could lead to wasted time and resources. Instead, being flexible means regularly assessing the situation, gathering feedback, and being willing to adjust your plans as needed. On the other hand, there are times when staying the course is essential, especially when your decision is based on your values and long-term vision. Adaptability doesn't mean constantly changing direction for the sake of convenience. It means being open to course correction when it serves your goals, but also knowing when to persist despite short-term challenges. Flexibility in this sense is about finding a balance between persistence and adaptability, learning when to stick with your decision and when it's time to adjust your approach. Building resilience through adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things don't go according to plan. Flexibility in decision-making is key to building resilience because it allows you to remain proactive rather than reactive in the face of adversity. When you adapt to changing circumstances, you are better equipped to handle setbacks and challenges with a clear head. For instance, if you've worked hard to achieve a specific goal and then encounter an obstacle, being flexible allows you to reassess the situation and find creative solutions that keep you moving forward, rather than being discouraged or stuck. Resilience is about bouncing back from difficult situations and using those experiences to grow stronger. The more flexible and adaptable you are, the better equipped you'll be to recover from setbacks and adjust your approach. When you trust in your ability to adapt, you stop seeing challenges as roadblocks and instead view them as opportunities to refine your process and emerge stronger. Letting go of perfection and embracing imperfection. Flexibility also means letting go of the need for perfection. We often get stuck in rigid plans or idealized outcomes, believing that everything must go according to a specific, predetermined script. However, real life doesn't work that way, and making decisions based on the idea of perfection can lead to frustration and missed opportunities. Flexibility allows you to accept that imperfection is part of the process and that mistakes or detours don't equate to failure. By letting go of the need for perfection, you become more open to learning from your experiences and adjusting your decisions along the way. Flexibility means being willing to pivot, try something new, and remain fluid in your approach without being attached to a particular outcome. This mindset helps you make decisions that are more responsive to changing circumstances and more aligned with your overall goals. Flexibility in relationships and collaboration. One area where flexibility is especially important is in relationships and collaboration. Working with others often requires you to be adaptable, as different people have different perspectives, goals, and working styles. Flexibility in decision-making allows you to take others' viewpoints into account and collaborate effectively, making decisions that benefit everyone involved. When you approach collaboration with an open mind and a willingness to adjust your approach, you foster stronger, more productive relationships, which ultimately leads to better outcomes for everyone. Additionally, relationships often involve unexpected changes. For example, if a personal relationship shifts or a colleague's priorities change, being flexible allows you to respond in a way that strengthens the relationship rather than creates tension. Flexibility in this context means being able to adjust to new dynamics and finding ways to navigate change while keeping the long-term goal or vision intact. Developing a growth mindset for adaptability. Adaptability is closely tied to having a growth mindset, the belief that you can learn and evolve through experience. When you embrace a growth mindset, you see challenges and changes as opportunities for learning rather than obstacles to your success. A growth mindset encourages you to remain open to new experiences, feedback, and alternative perspectives, making you more adaptable in the face of change. With a growth mindset, you understand that you don't have to have all the answers up front. Instead, you focus on the process of learning and adapting as you move forward. This mindset allows you to embrace flexibility and change, knowing that every decision, whether it leads to success or failure, contributes to your overall development. Flexibility and long-term vision. While flexibility is key, it's important to remember that it should not cause you to lose sight of your long-term vision and goals. Flexibility doesn't mean constantly shifting your goals or abandoning your values. Rather, it means being willing to adjust your approach in response to new insights and changing circumstances. It allows you to keep your long-term vision intact while being open to modifying your strategies for achieving it. For example, if your long-term vision involves financial freedom and a certain investment strategy isn't working, being flexible might involve exploring alternative investment options or reassessing your timeline. By adapting your approach while keeping your end goal in mind, you stay focused on your larger vision without becoming rigid in your thinking. The power of flexibility in decision-making. Flexibility and adaptability are essential components of rational decision-making. By remaining open to change, adapting to new circumstances, and letting go of the need for perfection, you create a decision-making process that is dynamic, resilient, and responsive to the challenges life throws your way. Flexibility allows you to approach each decision with a balanced perspective, knowing that change is inevitable and that you have the ability to adjust and evolve as needed. The more flexible you are, the more capable you become of making thoughtful, informed decisions that are in alignment with your long-term vision and goals. Through adaptability, you not only make better decisions, but also cultivate the resilience and growth necessary to thrive in an ever-changing world. Throughout this journey, we've explored the various elements that contribute to developing a rational mind, one that empowers you to make decisions with clarity, confidence, and purpose. From understanding the power of rational thinking to cultivating emotional intelligence, building self-awareness, and aligning your decisions with your long-term vision, each chapter has provided tools and strategies to enhance your ability to navigate the complexities of life. At the core of rational decision-making lies the understanding that decisions are not just about the outcomes, they are about the process. Every choice you make, whether small or large, is an opportunity to practice thinking critically, managing emotions, and learning from experiences. By consistently applying the principles of rational thinking, you strengthen your ability to assess situations objectively, challenge your assumptions, and make thoughtful decisions that align with your values and goals. Developing a rational mind is not a one-time achievement, but a lifelong practice. As you continue to apply these principles in your daily life, you'll find that decision-making becomes more intuitive, and your confidence in making the right choices grows. It's a process that requires patience, self-compassion, and a commitment to continuous growth. Each decision you make, whether it leads to success or failure, provides valuable lessons that contribute to your overall growth. By embracing the strategies outlined in this book, you are building a foundation for a life of intentionality, resilience, and purpose. Rational thinking enables you to stay grounded in your goals, make decisions with a clear mind, and navigate life's challenges with greater ease. As you continue to hone this skill, remember that every decision, every experience, and every lesson learned is a stepping stone toward becoming the best version of yourself. In the end, the power to make smart, rational decisions lies within you. It's not about being perfect, it's about being mindful, thoughtful, and committed to the process of growth. With each decision, you are crafting the life you desire, and with each step forward, you are becoming more adept at making choices that align with your true self. Stay focused, trust in your ability to think rationally, and continue to build the life you've envisioned, one decision at a time.